Well, still with vaccines, a Canadian company that is manufacturing its own made-in-Canada COVID-19 vaccine is threatening to move its testing and production operations out of the country if it doesn't get more support from the federal government. Providence Therapeutics, based in Calgary, has released the results of its phase 1 trials of its COVID-19 vaccine. The data, it's not yet been published or peer-reviewed, and the company says it is committed to Canada, but it's not feeling like the Canadian government is so committed to it. Brad Sorensen is the CEO of Providence Therapeutics. He's with me now. Mr. Sorensen, good to see you again. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Look, the country is now focused on the safety of vaccines in a big way here. Lots of scrutiny on the AstraZeneca vaccine. So tell me about the initial trial of your made-in-Canada vaccine. What did you find?
Yeah, so we found that we have a very safe and very tolerable vaccine. So the mRNA vaccines have a great safety profile, great safety record. So what I'm really referring to is the adverse events that are associated with dosing, whether that's local or systemic, high fever, fatigue, redness and swelling. We had significantly less adverse events than our peers, Pfizer and Moderna. So
Right.
we're very pleased with the results.
So to be clear, yours is the same, an mRNA vaccine. It's the same as the Pfizer and Moderna, the similar type of vaccine, right?
Yeah, same class of vaccine.
Okay,
Yes.
This was a trial of 60 participants, as I understand it, aged 18 to 64. So what did you find in terms of the efficacy of the vaccine in that first trial, and what's the next step?
Right. So the immunological response that we received was very good. There's two areas that we're focused on in the top line data. One is the total IgG antibodies that are produced, which was very high, and we were very pleased with those results. And then as you drill down, you get to the neutralizing antibodies, and we did exceptionally well. That's when they do get to what they refer to as a correlate of protection. We believe that neutralizing antibodies are going to be extremely important in this, and when you say compares very favorably, that's scientific speak for, we outperformed.
You outperformed who or what?
The other mRNA vaccines.
Okay, better performance you're saying at this point in these initial trials than Pfizer or Moderna?
Yes.
Okay, look, you've expressed frustration in your dealings with the federal government. You and I have talked about this before, but you're at the point now where you're considering moving your phase 2 trials and production out of Canada. How has it come to that?
Well, we're still being managed by the Canadian government. I don't know if I'd say we're being supported. We've been very clear. We're not interested in just being sort of strung along through the clinical trial experience. We know we've got a very good vaccine. The data today demonstrated that. What we want to do is we want to ramp up manufacturing capacity in Canada, and we'd like to be able to engage the government in securing, future booster doses that are needed by Canadians from a Canadian source. And so this is kind of where we've been approaching it. We have gotten funding from the Canadian government. And we were in discussions just this week with the NRC, and,
Right.
The National Research Council has been fantastic. It looks like they're going to support us in our phase 2 trial. But to put it sort of in a context, we're talking about getting about another $10 million from the NRC for our phase 2 trial. That trial is a comparator trial against Pfizer. We've asked 2 months ago for 500 doses of Pfizer vaccine, and we have not got a response. Initially, they said, go ask Pfizer. We did. Pfizer said no. And we came back to the government. And we need access because that's our positive control. We need to have the Pfizer's vaccines to run the trial.
You need that vaccine to be able to test yours against that vaccine. Simply put, you need it. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
So as you say, the government points out, you've got the support. It sounds to me like you're saying when you say you don't want to be sort of managed along, you want to just move more quickly than they're prepared to let you move. Is that it in a nutshell?
That's accurate. But like I said, there's certain aspects of this that, we have to submit our phase 2 application next week. we have to have that access to those vaccines in order to make that submission. We've been asking for 2 months. So, again, this isn't a trivial thing. This is, I know it sounds like, well, 500 doses, it should be straightforward. But for the federal government, it's not. And we need an answer on this. And so, when I talk about pulling Providence out of Canada, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We've got the ability to produce 200 million doses a year between Northern RNA and Emergent Biosolutions out of Winnipeg, and those doses are needed throughout the world. We're not going to, walk away and where we could save lives. So we're going to manufacture those doses. We're going to continue with what we've built in Canada. But what I'm saying is that we're going to look at, do we do anything future in Canada? Do we re-domicile the company? And in 2 years, once the crisis is passed, do we leave that production in Canada? And those are questions that we're looking at right now.
All right. Well, we'll continue to follow your story. Thanks for your time tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.